Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. Defining discipline is a lifestyle, a mentality, and a brand. And within this podcast, we're going to focus on self-improvement as you follow along with me on my journey. We'll also hear from special guests of all walks of life on this podcast and their remarkable journeys that led them to where they are today. Today is day 191 of my journey. At the beginning of the year this year, I challenged myself to run 365 days in a row, all outside, bearing the elements, whatever they may bring. I also challenged myself to run 1,500 miles within this time frame. Now, this is only my second year ever running. Within the first full year of running in 2020, I was able to run 1,002 miles, and I did that within 175 days out of the year. So this year will be a 50% step up in the amount of miles going for 1,500, as well as a 100% step up in the amount of days going for 365, not to even mention in a row. Also, within the first full year, when I first started running, I was at the ripe age of 31. But during this time frame here in the second year, within the 365-day challenge and the 1,500-mile challenge, I also decided to run two big major races within the year. Those races being a 50K trail race that was on June 5th, and I was able to finish that in 7 hours, 15 minutes, and 22 seconds, 31 miles. So I'm officially an ultra runner, and I was actually able to continue the run streak after that ultra marathon. And I'm also running the Detroit Free Press Marathon. That is in October. I'll be running the Motor City Challenge of that race, and that entails running the 5K and the competitive 1 mile the day before the actual marathon. So looking forward to that race as well. Other than that, though, throughout, let's talk about mileage. So for daily mileage, day 191, I went out there today and put in 6.1 miles for the day. That put me at 34 miles for the week, which put me at 59.8 miles for the month, which put me at 860.9 miles for the year. Let's focus real quickly on these monthly miles. Every single month, I challenge myself to do a 100-mile challenge, and I do it in honor of a charity which I raise money for. I also start a coinciding fundraiser for that charity in which we try to raise money and awareness for that charity throughout that month. So for the first 6 months, we were able to raise money for 6 great charities. Now we're in the 7th month of July. And for the 7th month, the 100-mile challenge for July is in honor of the Detroit Phoenix Center. They focus on helping the Detroit youth homeless get rehabilitated by finding homes, careers, getting them even education and stuff like that. And they're focused within the Detroit area, and they focus on the youth anywhere between, I think, age 13 and 26 within the Detroit area. So if you'd like to donate to this month's fundraiser, you can find the link to do so on the Defining Discipline Instagram or Facebook story, or my personal page's Instagram or Facebook story. Within those stories, you can find the link on the top of the page. It'll say donate on Facebook. You click on that, it'll open up the Facebook page where you're able to make your donations. All donations that get made to this fundraiser go directly to this fundraiser. Facebook does not take any portion of your donations. That's why we continue to do it through this, through Facebook, through all these fundraisers. I do know times are tough, though, and not everyone is able to make a donation. If that is the case and you still would like to help out, the best thing you do is click on that share button and share this fundraiser on your page or on your story. By doing so, you help get many eyes on it that may have not been on it by just me sharing it. And by getting those eyes on it, you help raise awareness for this charity. Maybe people will see it, and maybe if they don't donate right away, they'll donate later down the road, or maybe they just will be able to now know what the cause is about, and that is what we're trying to do throughout these months. So click on that share button. Even if you donated, click on that share button. It really helps out tremendously to get the news spread. Other than that, guys, every single month I've been not every single month. This past month, the beginning of the year, I really tried to challenge myself to do reading So I've been trying to do 30 minutes a day, which I failed on again. So we're not going to talk about the book at all that had been reading, but I need to get back into. But been doing a word of the day. Today's word of the day is cataract, which is a clouding of the lens of the eye or its surrounding transparent membrane that obstructs the passage of light. That is a cataract. So let's just get into today's episode. I want to try to keep today's episode a little bit quicker than normal because we are running actually very, very late today. Today I had a family event I had to go to, so I wasn't able to get the episode uploaded or even recorded until super late. It's going to be up past midnight. So for today's episode 191, today's theme is redefine. And I wanted to talk about that for a couple reasons. Because people will define you, and sometimes you let people's definition of you define you for yourself. And maybe you will define yourself, and maybe past actions will define you and put you and paint you in a certain corner that with growth you can maybe unpaint yourself in. And I want to talk about that because me myself, I have done things that have defined me, probably not in a great light, and I've done things and there's people who will define me in, again, not a great light. And for the longest time, I let it define me. I let my past decision making and other people's definition of me, I let that actually get to me. I think that maybe even have to deal with a lot of my confidence that I lost and a lot of other things. But I let those definitions define me for the longest time. And it was holding me back, especially when you define yourself negatively because of negative things you've done or because maybe other people have defined you negatively. So that's the way you truly have started to recognize yourself. And I wanted to talk about redefining yourself today because it is something that I have truly tried to do. I've tried to redefine myself, and I've really pushed myself to redefine myself. And I wanted to talk about it because it is so possible. I think we get caught in this mentality of comfort, and not even necessarily comfort, but we just get caught where we think that change is so unattainable. And a way to explain it is, maybe we get older and we have certain skills, but we don't think those skills are maybe the greatest skills anymore, and we don't think that we can learn any new skills, so we just settle with the skills we have. I guess that's just settling. We like to just settle and think that there is no room for improvement, and this is who we are, and that's it. We are defined. This is it. Who we are today is who we are going to be tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and next day, and there's no room for change. And I just do not believe that. I think no matter who you are, no matter what your situation is, I think there's so much room for you to redefine yourself. I think you can redefine yourself to be whoever you want to be. And like I said, I truly believe that I am greater and I can be a much better person than what my past has defined me as and what other people have defined me as. I don't think that still didn't sound right. But I think you caught the gist of what I'm trying to say. However other people have defined me, that is not how I'm going to let myself define myself. I'm just getting all jumbled up right now trying to talk about this. But again, I think you get the gist. So I didn't let my past decisions or what other people thought about me. I used to let it define me, but now I kind of broke that barrier and really started to take some self-responsibility and self-discipline and really start pushing myself to become a better version of myself, so those decisions I made in the past don't repeat themselves, or those decisions I've made that used to define me, I could redefine myself by making better decisions. So that is something I've really truly worked on these past few years. And while there's always going to be room for improvement, I've been very, very surprised and actually happy with how things have ended up. So the reason I wanted to talk about Redefine today, because it was something that I have done and I am currently doing. Every single day, I am going out there and I am redefining who I am and what I do and what I am capable of doing. And for the longest time, it was something that I never did. I just kind of settled with who I was, where I was, my position in life. Wherever I fell in that dominance hierarchy is where I was. And I think that's a way that we all kind of live. We all kind of settle in, and then wherever we're at, we think that that's where we're at, and that's where we're going to be at for life. And none of us ever really think about redefining who we are, or redefining our goals, or redefining our aspirations and things like that. And we get stuck in a cycle that is an endless loop, and it it can get very depressing and upsetting at times and things like that. And sometimes it feels hopeless because we just kind of settled and we don't really push ourselves to really redefine who we are. And I'm talking about this from experience of, like I said, really falling into who I was and what I was capable of, and pushing myself to try to do more or be capable of more was just completely out of the question, because it just seemed so unattainable and so out of reach. But really, just having a little bit of inspiration and a little bit of hope and a little bit of confidence, I was able to actually go out there and redefine who I am, on my own terms. And I was able to go out there and figure out what I wanted to do and how I really wanted to really try to start changing my life and where I wanted to aim my life. And, for instance, with this, even just with this podcast and following along with my journey, I'm trying to really redefine who I am as a person overall. I'm trying to become the best version of myself, physically, mentally, and not just for me, but trying to become the best version of myself for myself, but for everyone around me as well, my family, my friends. So I'm trying to redefine who I am as a person to become the best version I possibly can be. And I'm not going to be the best version I possibly can be if I look at my current self and say, one, I can't change, or two, I don't want to change. And or just settling with who I am and what I'm doing. And a great example of that is just a life example of that is I recall, I don't even know who it was, I just remember recalling having a conversation with someone about my language and swearing, and especially in front of my kids and stuff, and how I really wanted to try to really redefine who I am and not have to necessarily always rely on swearing or try to swear all the time. And I really wanted to try to like I said, redefine my language and become a better speaker and not have to talk, curse all the time in front of my kids, and relay that to them so that they think it's okay. And I just remember like having a conversation with someone, and they're just like, oh yeah, I tried that, but I realized that I just can't do it. So I just gave up, and now I just cuss all the time in front of my kids. It's okay. It's like I was really thinking in my head, it's like, well, one, is it really okay? I mean, yeah, I guess maybe there isn't a huge harm in it, but maybe there is a huge harm in it. Maybe the huge harm in in it is the fact that you aren't like you're it's so hard to explain. I don't want to say it's a wrong thing to do, but it's like you should always be trying to do better for yourself and trying to redefine yourself to be the best version you possibly can. And just to settle and say, well, I tried but I couldn't do it, so I gave up. I mean, it just, especially on something that could really affect not only you but generations down the line, I just think it's a little irresponsible and laziness to really not try to redefine who you are as a person. But I do have to cut today's episode a little bit short for the day. So for that reason, we are going to get into today's daily discipline. And for your daily discipline, guys, it is to redefine who you are. It is to not settle for who you may think you are, to always continue to push yourself to be better and to be the best version you possibly can, to redefine yourself, to always know that there's always going to be room for improvement. You're never going to be too old, you're never going to be too weak, or whatever the case is. You can always redefine who you are. So start by today redefining who you are. Who do you want to be? Who would you like to be in the future? Don't settle for who you are currently. Redefine who you are. That is your daily discipline for the day. So other than that, guys, I do want to thank you for so much for following along and listening. This has been 191 days of running and 191 episodes. So if you guys can, please give this podcast a like, a subscribe, a follow, and a share on our Facebook, our Instagram, our TikTok, our YouTube, and whatever podcast streaming platform you guys have been listening along on. Today's episode was a little bit shorter, a little bit quicker to the point. Today was a little bit limited on time. It is almost pretty much midnight now, so this episode will be uploaded a little bit later than expected. I did have current events for the day that I wasn't able to actually get this episode uploaded and recorded in time, so a little bit later, so not on perfect timing for today, but did want to still get today's episode out, episode 191, about redefining who you are, because like I said, you can be whoever you want to be, so do not settle for who you think you are. Redefine yourself to be the best version of yourself possible. Maybe you want to be a runner, go out there and run like I do. Maybe you want to I don't know, be a skateboarder, go out there and skateboard every day. Whatever it is you would like to be the best at, or whatever you would like to do, maybe you don't even do it yet. It is possible. Redefine who you are. Go out there for your daily discipline today. Figure out who it is you want to be and redefine it. Start doing it, whatever it is you want to be. Maybe you have a different career path in mind. Redefine yourself. If you have to go back to school to do that, it is never too late. Do not ever tell yourself it is too late to be the person you want to be. So for your, again, daily discipline is to redefine yourself to be that person. So thanks so much, guys, for following along and listening to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'll see you guys tomorrow for episode 192. Tomorrow we are doing the 7-Eleven challenge, which will be entailing me running 11 miles to 7 different 7-Elevens for their 7-Eleven Slurpee Day to get 7 Slurpees to fuel my 11-mile run. That is the 7-Eleven challenge. So we'll be doing that, posting about that, and we'll be also doing tomorrow's episode. It will be uploaded at a reasonable time, unlike today's. So thank you so much for following along and listening. I will see you guys tomorrow. Again, I am your host, Scott. This is the Defining Discipline podcast. Peace out.